They describe these black-skinned visitors carrying guanine spears. That's a West African alloy. And the evidence is there if you just stop denying it. There are Western archaeologists that want to cling to these white supremacist notion that there's no proof. There it is. The proof is right there. Look at that big rock shaped like a black man's face. They say the same thing about pyramids. You would swear you believe, they would have you believe that Egypt is in Europe somewhere, and it is right there in Africa, where all the black people are, bordered by some of the blackest people that ever lived on the planet in the Sudan. That you want to have us believe that these people were European. Even after Columbus brought Africans with him. We didn't just show up in shackles. We fought, we resisted, and we carved out our own place. There was a man named Juan Garrido. He was a Bantu warrior turned conquistador. He arrived in Florida in 1513. He fought alongside the Spaniards. Remember, the Spaniards and the Moors had to deal with each other for about 800 years. And the Moors were black largely. We didn't just witness conquest, we survived and we shaped it. Look, let's clear up another lie. Black history in America did not begin in 1619. And it damn sure didn't start with slavery. You understand me? The year shout out to Curly Locks. The year 1619 is often cited as at the beginning of the black presence in the United States because that's when approximately 20 Africans were brought to an English colony in Virginia named Jamestown. But even that story is misunderstood. First of all, those Africans were seized from a Portuguese slave ship, not some factory line slave exploitation in West Africa. And more importantly, they were not the first black people in what is now the United States. There were free black people already living in the United States or living in these colonies in 1619, particularly along the Spanish-controlled Gulf Coast of Florida and in areas influenced by French and Portuguese. We're already there. They were artisans, they were craftsmen, they were farmers, they were builders, they were translators, they were sailors, they were traders. Some had married into the indigenous and European families and communities. They were treated and you know, at least legally, as free citizens. Even in Jamestown, when they brought the black Africans to Jamestown, the records show that some of those early Africans were not enslaved for life. Some gained their freedom. Some owned property. One of the most famous early Africans in Virginia was a man named Anthony Johnson. He arrived as an indentured servant. He gained his freedom and eventually owned land, and he even had indentured servants of his own. Shout out to Kiki Queen. And the truth be told, there was black people that owned slaves too. They was over there at the slave auction too, buying Africans fresh off the boat. Foundational black Americans. The narrative is complex. It's not convenient. And it's certainly not what American textbooks have taught. Now let's fast forward to 1776. That is the birth of the United States. Back then, there weren't 50 states. There were 13 colonies, and these 13 colonies who were under the control of Europe, of Great Britain or England, declared we are independent from Britain. And even then, black people were present in both the North and the South. Okay? You understand? The northern colonies, the southern colonies, if that's what you want to call them, we were here. Many were enslaved, but tens of thousands were free. And at the point where the country became the United States of America, the northern states like Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, New York, they had free black communities that thrived, they had open churches, they had running businesses and fighting in the Revolutionary War. Yes, black people fought for this country's independence. even when they weren't guaranteed a piece of it. Now let's fast forward to 1865. At the end of the Civil War, the Emancipation Proclamation had been issued in 1863 by the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery. There were 4.4 million black people in the United States. War ended. That's 11% of the entire population. They were free and they had always been free. Some had bought their freedom. Some were here before. It just came from families that were free. Let that sink in. Not all black people were enslaved. Even at the height of the institution of slavery, we have free black landowners, legislators, educators, inventors, clergies, and entrepreneurs. So this narrative, family, that all black Americans descended exclusively from slaves is both incomplete and dishonest. Now, I will say this, virtually all of us who are here today in 2025 have enslaved ancestors. That's a fact. Okay? But we also have ancestors that were free and never were slaves. And if you go back far enough, you can find them. Some who were free long before the Civil War, long before the Revolution, even before Jamestown. Difficult to find records, but if you look, you might find them. You might need to speak Spanish and Portuguese. Going down there to Florida. But the thing is, when people try to boil our history down to shackles and plantations, remember, we were builders, we were warriors, we were sailors, we were leaders. Before this country was even founded. We didn't just survive. Okay, that's what I need you to understand. We shaped the nation from dirt up. So again, for the hard-headed and willfully ignorant, and I know you're out there, black Americans are not immigrants. We are not guests. We are not here on borrowed time. We are the roots. And if you try to deport us, you'll learn what this country has learned over and over again. And that is that foundational black Americans will fight. We always have and we always will. See, Africans and Caribbeans come to the United States and they try to lump us in with every other immigrant group. Y'all need to check yourself. We are not you. We've been here. We've been bleeding and building and fighting for our survival long before your passport got stamped. And when you vote for people who you think will deport all immigrants, thinking that includes us, you reveal just how deeply you've swallowed these white supremacist lies, because see, you forget, again, we're not immigrants, we're the foundation. And you can't deport people who are already rooted in the soil. I mean, you could try it if you want to, but you need to understand, we will not be deported. And if you try, you might just die. Because we fought at every war in this country. We fought every system that tried to erase us, and we still here. See, then there are those who use who were those of us and our ancestors who were brought here in chains, shackled and whipped, bought and sold, and forced to build this country from the foundation up. Our ancestors were the bricks and the mortar, the sweat, the screams, the blood beneath America's economy, railroad, agriculture, and military dominance. We are not immigrants. We are the core stock of this nation. See? Now, why does that matter? Why does all that matter? You can't deport us. See, foundational black Americans belong here. See, deportation isn't just illegal, it is impossible. We will resist. Somebody type, we will resist in the chat room. This land was built with our rebellion. You understand me? From the Seminoles down in Florida to Nat Turner's uprising, we have never bowed. See, hard work alone isn't protection. We know the pattern. Black excellence is met with backlash from Tulsa to Trump's current raids. Black Americans are the original Americans. We predate the Constitution, the Mayflower, the Columbus. everybody else is saying, I'm an Irish American. I'm a Italian American. I'm a Polish American. We Black American. We right here. See, the rest of the diaspora, you arrived later. You came here by choice. We didn't leave. We stayed. We built. We bled. We're never going to leave. See, remember this. You didn't come to America. You came to us. Because, see, without us being here, there wouldn't be America for you to come to.
DennisSpurling, got the mic on fire.
Black father, I have black son.
Tune in, we be feeling inspired. From the heart, real talk ignite. Every episode brings the light. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Share the love, you know it's family. Join us every week, don't be late. Drop some coins in the collection plate. Drop some coins, enjoy the ride. Come say hi, catch the wave, don't pass by. Lifted spirits always in sight. In this podcast, joy takes flight. Subscribe, hit the like, won't you dare. Share the love, you know it's fair. Join us every week, don't be late. Drop some coins in the collection plate. Drop some coins.
Donation. I thought it was a trap.
Hey man, I'll do what I do. You know that.